Okay, Michael, we are live. Let's do it.
How are you doing, Martin?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you. What about you, Michael?
I am doing super. I love doing these e-commerce undercovers. Who do we have with us today?
Today we have Narek, and he's doing something very, very interesting that I think not most of the people I would say consider into their business strategy, and I think they
Really?
should. And I think after this conversation, I hope it will make DTC e-commerce people, yeah, maybe reconsider the way that they launch.
So what do you think, Martin? Before we get to Narek, what do you think this is going to be about? What is he going to tell us we don't already know?
I think so many things.
Okay. Narek, why don't you give us a little quick introduction of yourself?
Hey guys, thanks for inviting me.
Thank you.
So I've been in the hardware industry for the past 7 years, I'd say, in the innovative hardware. I've started this company called the Crowdfunding Formula. It's a crowdfunding marketing agency, and we have been doing crowdfunding campaigns and helping some of the successful companies do their crowdfunding marketing. And we have actually quickly became one of the top marketing agencies, and started to receive a lot of products, actually a lot of innovations in the office. Where you would come in, there would be a lot of products around, and we need a way on how to validate which products have a higher potential, which ones won't. So we tried anything and nothing really worked. We tried this research, focus group surveys. I thought I'm the biggest expert in forecasting. Turned out I'm not. And we have came up with a method that we'll speak about later on that helped us to accurately validate products, which later on became Prelaunch.com, and helped us build the successful company, help other creators to succeed in their forecasts. And yeah, eventually we've built a really good ecosystem, 4, 5 companies in the innovative hardware space, made an ecosystem where we help creators from idea to scalability to succeed in every step.
You said a lot of interesting things.
Yeah, you did. So when you said you're in the hardware business, were you manufacturing and designing your own hardware? Are you an engineer? Like, what's your background? And where are you from, by the way?
So I'm from Armenia.
Love it. Go ahead.
I'm based in Armenia. I'm from Armenia. The company is a US-based company, and some of the team members are from US as well, and some in Armenia. But I am based in Armenia. So my background is economics and marketing. We're not engineering products ourselves, but
Yep.
we're a kind of support ecosystem. We're supporting engineers and innovators and trying to make them focus on the products only, to not struggle with everything else. Just focus on the products, make them really good, and we'll help with everything else.
So how does this work though? Like, is this a hardware only solution, or is this just something you're just super interested in hardware more than you are in the software side of it?
It turned out now I'm both in the hardware and software, because I've built a software to support hardware companies. So I have to be interested in software as well. But overall, like, I was super inspired with the crowdfunding model when it was evolving in the 7-8 years ago. And it was fascinating to me. And for some reason, crowdfunding worked only for hardware companies, only for consumer hardware companies. And it doesn't really emerged and worked for software companies. So automatically I became kind of into the hardware industry through crowdfunding. And this is how I ended up there.
But like, where does your expertise come to actually understand which hardware is going to be good and which hardware is going to be bad? Do you know what I mean? And in a way, it doesn't even matter. It's like which hardware is going to sell and which one isn't going to sell.
So it actually matters a lot, because in software this lean methodology is a kind of religion. Every software company has a framework on how to launch products, and this lean way and building an MVP and minimum viable product, getting feedback, and co-building the products alongside with your customers has become a new normal in software.
Yep.
But in hardware, it's not like that. It's like, the companies are operating like 100 years ago.
Could so you do that? Because software and hardware are obviously completely different. But is it possible to co-create hardware with your partners in this? I mean, not in the same way, but in a similar way that you do with your software partners, right?
So this is exactly what we're trying to pitch, and we have proof that it's possible, and the results are just amazing. As a result, you meet your customers as early as possible, and try to co-create products with them, and we think that's the future.
But how did you figure this out? Like, what was the learning for you? If they were like the 3 top things you learned by working with all these creators, what were those 3 things that you learned?
So the first thing is that there is no expertise. That you can't rely on your expertise in forecasting products. I learned it the hard way, like relying on my expertise. So I've been a long time expert in the industry, and I was trying to put my master hat on and make like big, bold bets on which products will succeed and which ones won't. And it turned out that I'm not that good with all my experience, and all the bets failed. Not all, but many of them. And we needed to figure out a way, because as an agency, we've been operating on a percentage-based basis, and we needed to work only with the high potential products. And on creator side, they need to understand as early as possible which products has a demand, which ones don't, because they are investing so much resources into this hardware. Like it's amazing. They're like spending 2 to 3 years for a simple product, investing up to $300,000, and then only at the end they'll learn whether this product has a demand or not. And 80% of them fails. And when you fail, you don't go back and start all over again. So
no, you go get a job somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are the other things that you learned? Like you said, there's no expertise. What are the other 2 things you were talking about?
So the other 2 things is that the highest accuracy is when customers have a skin in the game. So a lot of creators go out and try to ask around to get feedback, get surveys, and try to base their production based on these feedbacks. So it's not accurate because it's based on opinions, right? And everybody got an opinion. Everybody got an opinion.
I've heard.
But where you need
but not many of those
somebody,
opinions are valid.
Yes, exactly. So you need to have this accurate validation, and you need to get your customers to have their skin in the game, which we think is only by paying you a small reservation amount. So they'll give you like small amounts, and this is how they prove that they really want it, right? So it beats everything out there. So behavioral, like making your bets based on behavior. This is another thing that we've learned. And third thing is that market is totally unpredictable. I'd say, like I've met products that I can bet nobody will guess that they will be successful, and they ended up becoming like hits in their.
Like what? Can you give me an example of this? Because I can give you some examples from when I was a kid. But
sure.
Give me an example of something where you just thought this is never going to succeed.
So there was this interesting story. One of these products was a mask. So it's called a privacy mask, which covers your full face, and your face becomes like an egg. So it's a kind of egg-shaped mask. Very funny. Like I still can't imagine that. Some people really love it. So these guys have been pitching this idea to us for quite some time, and they were trying to get us on board and help them with their marketing, and we were rejecting them. We're saying, guys, we're a serious agency. Nobody's going to buy this product. Come on. But so you made fun and that's it. But they insisted. They say, no, we think that this has a potential. We are getting some feedback. We think that this product can go well. And we said, okay, and I myself, I rejected that product like 3 times. The guys were been coming to me, and as a CEO, I was saying no, putting veto on that product. And later on, we said, okay, we'll do the validation, and if it turns out that the metrics are good, we'll take the product. So we did this validation testing, and we were amazed by the metrics that we saw. We saw that people really love it, and we're ready to pay $80 for this mask. So we said, okay, like we trust the data more than us. Let's do it. And we did a campaign And it turned out that so this product did $500,000 of sales in a month, and
Why?
became a hit. It was covered by the Guardian, the Daily Mail, by everything. When you search it, blank mask, you will be amazed by even iPhone is not getting that much of a coverage.
But why?
Uh,
What can you talk about this validation testing you did? So what changed your mind?
Yeah, I'm super curious as well. I want to know what was the
so
secret sauce.
this third learning is that I also can adjust it a little bit. It's about that, like you are not your audience, you are not your target audience,
Yeah,
and
for sure.
whoever is buying the products, sometimes you are kind of considering it by yourself, and you don't know all the reasons why people are buying it. Now with the validation and with the pre-launch, we're trying to get as much insights as possible to understand like what are the core reasons for that. But it can be a trend, it can be a very specific group which is still large enough to make it successful, right? And it happened exactly with this product. We were not the customers, and you guys are not the customers as well, and we all think that this is a crappy product, but it turns out there is a group, mostly in Asia, who think this is an amazing. They can cover their faces and be private, not catch up under the cameras, something. And sometimes you are not able to fully understand the reasons, but you see that it's working.
But you said you did validation metrics, right? You said you've taken away your own opinions and you have a systematic way of trying to figure out like which products are going to win and which products aren't going to lose, right? Because the marketplace is really unpredictable. I get that. I see it every day. And also that there is no expertise. So there's no way to know. But so what are you doing? What is this validation testing? What if I came to you with a product? What would you do with it
So
besides
this
just
is what
rejecting it out of hand?
Yeah, so this is what we do. It's both very simple. Everybody can do it, and we do it in an expert level, although, but it's like everybody can do it. So we create a two-page campaign. On the first page, we showcase the idea of the product, the concept, some of the benefits, and basically like what it looks like, right? So, and then we have this subscribe to learn more button in there. So whoever is interested, they can put down their emails to subscribe to learn more about this product. So on the second page, we showcase the price of the product, and we say if you want to get a discount, put down $10 or $20 to get a really cool discount when this product releases into the markets, right?
Okay, but where do you actually go and put this thing? Like people need to discover it, right? So it's on a
Yeah,
web page or some kind of thing somewhere. How
exactly.
does the
Yeah.
discovery work?
You drive traffic through ads. So advertising, Facebook advertising, Google advertising are one of the best ways to get very targeted traffic to those web pages, right? So you're getting niche traffic to this page, and this way you're also testing which audience resonates the most with this product. So you can test different countries, you can test different interests, you can test different niches. This way you're bringing traffic and then analyzing the metrics, and then based on that, so that's the easiest way to do and get the first insights. Then on prelaunch.com you can do all this, and then you get like very advanced analytics, you get advanced metrics, we compare it with the similar products and guide you on whether you're doing well or not. But on the bottom line, it's all based on people giving you actual reservation amount, so it beats everything.
But it sounds expensive. In other words, you're not doing anything outside the norm. You're just doing it earlier on in the process, right? In other words, instead of waiting until the product is done and then going out and targeting ads and then going out and trying to find this sort of intentional audience, you're saying, hey, don't do anything yet. See if
Yeah,
somebody will just like put down $5 on it if they get a 25% discount.
yeah, that's the cheapest way actually. It is the cheapest way, because the other alternatives like are not 10 but 100 times more expensive, because otherwise you would invest all those money into creating the product along the way and or producing it. If you're going to Amazon, you have to have a stock, you have to invest in the stock, then you go it, and then you start first speaking with customers when you already have ready-made products. So it's making it pretty expensive.
I have a few questions for you regarding the financial side of that. Just to have some details, okay? Just so I understand that perfectly, because I think if you want to do that, I think there's like a huge advantage is that people are going to pay for it, right? So at the end, you are getting some ROI on your advertising campaign, right? So are you so my first question is, are you testing price this way? Like, for example, if we sell the product at $80, we have that much people. If we sell at 70, at 60, at 90, and you're testing multiple products like this, so are you doing that? And also, my second question just after that is, are you profitable on this kind of campaign? So are you able, with all the 5 or 10 or $15 deposit from the people, pay for the customer acquisition cost and then like be completely profitable? Does that work?
Uh, yes. So the first question, absolutely. You are like price testing is one of the most important aspects of these kind of testings, right? And we had this recent story where in one of the campaigns, we convinced the campaigner to increase the price actually,
Mm-hmm.
and we noticed that people are ready to pay more, and they have been underpricing their products. And we said, you guys, you can charge like 50% higher price than you are doing it right now. And they were not ready. They were saying, no, nobody's going to buy this product. Come on, we don't want to lose the sales, etc. We convinced them eventually to do that, and eventually they launched it into the market with 50% more margin and benefited from the higher margin. Basically, in the hardware where the margins are very squeezed, they went to a higher price. So it's not only with the decreasing the price, you can increase the price also. And in these testings, in the pre-launch testings, you can have different pricings, see which price resonates the most with the customers, and make be confident that you have the best price. Even test the upper level. Sometimes suppliers are increasing the prices in a month or so. It's very unpredictable, right? You're dealing with many suppliers, etc. So you need to understand what is your upper limit, like how much you can increase the price of your product, despite that you're not doing it right now. Like, what's your upper level? So these are also you can do, and definitely price testing is one of the most important areas of this testing.
Can you be a
And
little bit more specific? Sorry for a second. Can you just be a little
sure.
bit more specific for me? In other words, you said you told them to raise the price. So what was the signal that you got? Because if I understand the process, right, it's like you have an idea for a product. We kind of sell that idea to the product. We make a little presentation or whatever. We ask people to put down a deposit on it. We target very specific types of cohorts for this. And how are you understanding that they'll pay? Like, if I want to sell for 25, you're coming back and telling me you can sell it for 40. How do you, like, what was the analysis you did? How do you get that feedback? How does this really work?
So this works the following way. So in these testings in the pre-launch platform, we put the price. Like, for example, the price is $25, and
Yep.
we collect reservations. Then we increase the price. Then we put $40. Then we again like continue collecting the reservations. Then we are comparing it, and we call it sensitivity analysis. So we're seeing how sensitive people are when you're increasing the price, how deeply the reservation rate changes when you're increasing the price, right? And as we've been doing this for the past 3 years, we already know the right metrics. We know that if it drops drastically, then it's a no-go. If it still continues in the same way, in the same pace, then you can actually go with a 40. Why underprice it? So this way, we have a very powerful dashboard that shows you these very detailed insights that you're getting, and then using it in your pricing methodology.
That's
Interesting.
really interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Then I'm really curious, like, what's the success rate? Like, I mean, like, if I have an hardware, I come to you, we do this campaign, you tell me, Martin, that's amazing, you should launch at this price, like, this is the result that we have. How many of the actual real campaign worked?
So the accuracy is amazing, I would say.
Okay.
Like it's about 80-90%. So
Okay.
that accurate. So if you see that your pre-launch campaign is doing great, then 80% your actual launch will do great, right?
Okay.
Because it's logical, because it's based on people who actually gave you money when your product doesn't exist yet. So when your product exists, it even attracts more attention, more engagement, more attraction. And there is a very much correlation because they both are based on the actual purchase intent, so on the actual behavior. So that's why there is the success is so high.
That's pretty cool.
So if there's no, can I just go back to this idea of there's no expertise, right? So you're doing all this testing, but the people that are doing the testing, right, they're writing software and doing all this other stuff, right? They come in naturally with like their own ideas, even if they think they don't. Does that make sense, right? So how do you eliminate that, or how do you account for that when you go out and do these? Because like in offline surveys, right, the people that write the surveys, they're thinking something. They want some kind of output. How do you eliminate that from as one of the factors that could impact this?
The factors, can you elaborate a little more?
Well, just everyone goes in with their own personal bias, right? Whether it's writing software or talking about, who should run for president. Everyone's got some kind of bias. How do you remove those biases when you're doing this, whether it's electronic or not? How do you do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Like the main bias is not selecting your target group accurately, right? That's the biggest bias, because you have the survey. If you ask the right people, you'll get the right answers. So if you get the right data, you can have the best outcome. And how to make sure that you're asking from the right people? The only way is the skin in the game, right? You need to make sure that this audience is the right audience, is the very potential audience who will buy your products in the future. And how you be sure about that is that if they're giving even $10, it's a small amount, but it still makes them become more filtered and more targeted audience than everybody else. And then you're making your survey, making your analysis only on them. So you ask only their question, you ask only their opinion, you ask what color they like, and this audience is your very targeted audience. And this way the results that you're getting are very accurate, and it's not similar to just go in the social media, have a survey, launch it in your page, and just ask your friends, hey guys, just fill in this survey and tell me what you think. And all your friends are telling you're doing great, go and then produce it, and you go and fail because nobody really wanted to buy them.
I like to find out if this is doable in reverse, right? So let's say I have a general idea for a product, right? But it has like 5 or 6 different iterations. What's the optimal number of choices, right? Because I don't want to A/B test it. I may want to A, B, C, D, E, F test it, right? At some level. And they just may be slightly nuanced changes. Where does it become suboptimal for me to test? Is there a number or a value? Do you know what I mean?
That's a very good question. And the answer is you can test from A to Z, not to A to even C. And it's up to you. It's up to you when you want to give up or you want to continue testing.
Yeah, but there's an amount of money that it costs me. Like it's not free to test that, right? So for software, it's relatively free, yeah. But for hardware, it's harder, right? And I've got to redesign. And even if you're doing CAD designs, like all this kind of stuff, what's the optimal number just from a spend on getting the right audience and also finding them and getting them to the landing page to the actual product?
Let me tell you a story of guys who they came to us with a toothbrush. 2 years ago, they came up with a toothbrush, and this toothbrush was designed for travelers, and they thought they are traveling a lot, and they thought it would be cool to have this a toothbrush in a package, etc. They had some kind of cool design, and they wanted to launch the product. They said, we have it ready, we're launching it, let's do it, we're very excited, this is going to the millions of dollars. We already have agreements.
They all are.
Yes, like everybody. So we convinced them to start with the testing, not with the launching the product. They tested, and we saw that it's not going anywhere. Like there are problems, and we said, guys, if you are really committed to produce this product, you need to consistently start the testing, and with you, we can help you to understand where exactly the problems are. Right. And at a time, try to iterate and improve every aspect, like the product, the messaging, the audience, to make sure that all the factors are in the highest level. And they started working on it, and it turns out that they did the testing for more than 1.5 years. So continuously, like it actually became a totally new product. It still remained a toothbrush, and that's the only thing that remained out of that product. But eventually it became something totally new with a new name, new materials, new positioning. So the initial positioning was for travelers. Now they position it to to totally different target group. And eventually they saw that everything is good. They launched it and they did $500,000 in sales with just very quickly, instantly upon the launch. And it's a very successful company now, and they're thinking of a very good acquisition terms. So and then we have some cases where some creators test their concepts and they just with one hypothesis they see that it's not working, and they thank for knowing this early, and they just stop it. So it really depends on how committed you are and how further you want to go. Of course, it's like you can't do it forever. At some point you still have to stop. And this is also where pre-launch helps you. So if you do it in isolation, you won't know how many times you should do it. So you're doing it's not good, you're doing it's not good, how long you should continue, right? But in pre-launch we give you some insights where we say, you have a really big interest which is abnormally big, but something is not good, something is not great. So you go and try to work out on your pricing level, or go and try work out on your audience, but you have like good metrics. Overall something is really good, and this gives you the insight to continue. And when you see that nothing is good, then you need to be happy, because you saved a lot of future time and money in this case.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Is there a way, or when will we get to a point where we go out, we find a target audience, we find out they're intentional, they want to buy my toothbrush or whatever it is I'm developing, but they come back with all these other sort of recommendations and words that I could use to kind of redesign. Is there a way then to take that and use what's happening in OpenAI, right, and all this generative technology, and let some of that try to redesign what that product is, so that there's an artificial intelligence aspect to this as well?
Yeah, so you are describing pre-launch version 2.0 now.
I'm going home.
Michael, do you have some insider secrets?
Yeah, you just told all our insider plans and roadmap. Actually, it's definitely possible in very near future. Even currently, we have an AI in the platform where you just don't have to write your copy. So imagine you go, if you create a campaign, you can try it out, by the way. You just go open an account, and it asks you questions. So you don't have to be a master copywriter, you don't have to be a marketeer. You just answer questions like, what is your product, who is your, what problem it solves, and you describe it like you'll tell to a friend. And then like 5 questions or 7 questions, just very quickly, and then in the end your copy is just ready, like an Ogilvy level designer is working on your page. So it like we trained the AI over the past successful products, over the past successful pages that we had, and then this way it understands on what kind of words to put and how to position the copy in the best way possible.
Right.
To me, yes.
Go ahead, Martin.
No, I was just thinking, like, to me, you are also helping a lot on the marketing channels, like on the customer acquisition side, because like we mentioned Facebook ads, we mentioned Google ads, we mentioned copywriting, we mentioned landing pages. And if you give me all of this data and the pre-launch is successful, then I just use the exact same data, because I know that with Google and Facebook, like that's one beauty, I think, of what you do, is that if you target, I don't know, 5%, for example, of this group on Facebook, then thanks to Facebook tools, once again, we know what's the size and we know how to get the same one, and then you are as well creating and testing the marketing channels, right?
Absolutely, that's a very good point, and it basically saves you a lot of future iterations and a lot of future testings that you would do, and that would cost typically much more than if you do it in a pre-launch stage. Because in a pre-launch stage, it's still a sample size, it's still short, it's still iterative, it's still not much scaling, and you can experiment much more in a flexible way rather than just spend all your budgets, all your means into something that you don't know whether it will work or not.
Can you just run through for me what fake door testing is? Right, I feel like this is a big thing. Maybe you can run through it and just say like why this doesn't work in this case or why it works poorly.
So it works partially, I'd say. It works partially because it's still much better than surveys and focus groups. That basically the fake door testing is a way to do this testing where creators put down their products into the pages and the price, drive traffic, and see who is buying the product, right? So you're creating kind of fake page of your product. It's very widespread. Everybody's doing that. And you just create a fake version website, drive traffic, and see whoever actually is buying it. Then when people are buying it, you're refunding their money, saying, sorry, the product doesn't exist yet. Just, come back
That feels
later
like a bad
on.
idea.
Yeah, that's not the best idea actually. But in terms of accuracy, you're getting accurate data. But in terms of customers, they're not as satisfied, obviously, because there's this friction because they understand that it's fake. It was fake. They wanted they had another expectations, etc. So there is no transparency basically, and this is what we don't like. And this is widespread because it doesn't help you to retain the customers. It doesn't help you to retain
Yeah, it
leads,
sounds like a
potential
terrible
groups, right?
experience.
Yes, you don't get them to tell you some of the important insights, like why they were about to buy your product, for example. You can't basically survey them because you just faked them your product. So in terms of like very short benefits, it can be good. But in terms of brand value, also if you are an established brand, even not established brand, it affects to your brand image as well. So this is why we're not recommending it, typically. And this is exactly why we create Prelaunch, to make this transparency and make it transparent, to say that this product doesn't exist yet. And if you want it that much, you can you don't have to pay the full price. You just have to pay a small portion, like pay a reservation amount. Just $1, $10 is enough to confirm your commitment. And then alongside, you iterate with them. You get them to co-create with you. You can ask them any questions. You can get their brains, get their insights. They give you feedbacks. So it helps you kind of group this close community and group of ambassadors and launch along with them. So we are promoting this transparency and trying to say don't fake it, then make it the way it is.
Is there a community building aspect to this that's sustainable, which means like if I want to develop a hardware product, I get a bunch of people interested, they put down a deposit, let's say it's 1,000 or 2,000 people. Now they're my supporters, even my ambassadors, right? Is there a community aspect to this too? And ignoring
Absolutely.
let me just finish this part of this because it's interesting to me, right? If we're moving into an environment where we believe, regardless of where Bitcoin trades, because I don't care, but where there's like a Web3 aspect to this, where your most supportive customers can also own a piece of this without really owning the equity, but can get benefits through tokenization. And if you believe the entire world is going to get tokenized, are you building in or thinking in this aspect as well? Where like that deposit buys the token, which then gives benefits to the product once it gets really big, if that makes sense.
It can go to that direction as well, and it definitely makes sense because building communities is what we will see in the upcoming decade, I think. Like
in the upcoming decades,
the upcoming decades, right?
For sure.
I think that's the future of marketing, and every company to ensure their sustainability and defensibility needs to have their community. And despite on where you are, in what business you are, you need to build your community. Because otherwise we saw that dependence on these major monopolies like Facebook, Google, and who kind of monopolize the paid marketing, it's very dangerous and it's very risky. In one day they are deciding to change something and the whole industry just crashes, right? So it's now shifting towards these private small community buildings. And you're very right. Prelaunch also helps you get your early community, get your early adopters to you as soon as possible. Because those are people who are ready to give you money at a time where your product doesn't even exist yet. So they're becoming part of your team. They're becoming your very early community. And later on, it can be Web3, it can be tokens. They can own part of your community. They can have an equity. They can get some exclusive perks because they're helping you build this product. You're not building it alone. You're not building it in isolation. That's the beauty of it. And this is why I love this so much. Because the product creation shouldn't be only prerogative of creators, right? It should be built together. It should be like the community, whoever is getting the products at the end of the day, they have to have their voice heard. They have to get their input. They're giving such an amazing feedback, amazing insights that I know a lot of stories where creators didn't imagine that the level of deepness and involvement of this community helped
people
them build
care,
such
right?
great people really care, really.
They care.
uh,
So will you
yeah.
build this into your tech stack as well? In other words, let's say, again, I have a product. You help me build a community. You help me do all this research. And I say, okay, let's tokenize this community. Like, should you build that part of the technology too and get ready for the stuff that's going to happen in Web3?
It's not that much in the roadmap at this stage, but that's definitely something that we're considering. It makes sense, and not only because of these buzzwords of Web3,
No,
Web
don't care.
3, etc.
Yeah,
It really makes sense because it's also about this decentralization, about transparency, about trust, about communities, and we're also going towards that direction. So I think that it's possible.
Yeah, and just to be fair to you, like I would ask you these questions whether Bitcoin was trading at 60,000, 20,000, or $15. I just think that, just based on my experience in the finance world, the world is getting financialized. Everything is going to have benefits associated with it. Money is going to be digital, and tokenization I think is going to happen across the board. It's just a matter of when, not if. There are regulatory issues that need to get worked out, and that's why I want to ask this question, because the companies that aren't preparing for this, that are talking about like, oh, Bitcoin just went down 18%. I don't care, right? But the tokenization side of it is not going to go away. There's a slow march towards this, and that's why I asked you about it.
Yeah, 100%, totally.
Okay. Anything else, guys?
I'm really wondering that we started this whole conversation by saying we talked about hardware and not software, but I can't stop thinking that we can do the same with software, no?
Yeah, it's not that different actually.
It's not that different. We can launch an ad. We can launch we can get people to start paying a little bit just to show their interest. That we can co-create the software with them. It might be actually much faster and much easier to iterate on some software, and then just launch it for real after, once we have a good user base. And I imagine a software that would have a monthly payment, like for example yours, that would work like magic, because maybe you can reach a point where you can be maybe not profitable, but at least break even just with the pre-launch phase.
Yeah, 100%. We have software projects, we have digital products also being tested in the platform. But the reason why we are more concentrating on the hardware products, on the fashion products at this stage, is because the problems are much more in these industries, right? And
got it.
in software, they're somehow solving their problems by these MVPs, lean methodology, etc. But still, they are also benefiting from the platform as well. But in hardware, the costs, the failure rate, and the problems are much bigger, uncomparable in software.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, there's platform like Product Hunt, for example, or AppSumo in the software world, what kind of act as an early
Product Hunt, AppSumo, they help somehow. Yeah,
they kind of help a little bit the software people to start, let's say, and get some. But also, like, there's one thing that I don't like with Product Hunt or AppSumo is that getting these early communities often comes at the price of a huge discount, like very big discount. And sometimes people who are using these platforms have a valid software that's working, right, and they just go there as a marketing channel to get customers, basically, right? But then, as it comes with a discount, you can't test the pricing as you do. It's not really early adopters, because like you're already established, you already have the software. So like, I think it's okay, but if we can do more like what you're doing, I think it's much better.
I
maybe
agree.
take more time.
I totally agree. Yeah, it's good. It's really good thing, but it's a bit extreme, and it's
Yeah,
like
it's very
if
extreme.
you're doing 90% discount, you can't actually
Exactly.
test your price because like if you put 90% discount in anything, people will buy because that's an opportunity they don't want to miss.
Yeah,
But you are not really testing whether they actually wanted to buy it as
exactly.
at your market price. So
Mhm.
Right.
that's you're very right in here.
And plus most of the time it was so lifetime deals, for example. So if you buy a lifetime deal at 90% discount,
I,
is the guy
I'm not
really
looking
here?
what the product is, you know.
Yeah,
So in
exactly,
Absolute,
right.
I'm getting email. It says it 90% discount. You get
Mhm,
lifetime deal. I'm not even interested what the product is.
mhm.
So if it's good, if there are reviews, I'm buying it. I'll say I'll look at it later on in the over the weekend, and I might not use it, but I'm not losing that much. So it's not that much of friction.
But as a business, AppSumo is huge, right? That's a very, very big business and they're making a lot of money, right? And the vetting process that they have to accept someone to go on the platform is actually pretty hard. That they don't accept most of the projects. And plus they take I think a 30% commission, if I'm not wrong, on
Yeah.
on all the sales or something like that. And so, is there kind of a model, kind of something like this that you could do on your platform? Like, can that become like that's Michael's big idea of like, can that, if you have access to so many great products, is there a
Mhm.
way that you can as well aggregate them, the best one, and create sort of marketplace, a pre-launch marketplace, and compete directly with AppSumo or with Product Hunts because you have all of these great product, great founders, great company, but a slightly different way.
Yes, there is some aspects of competition out there, I'd say, because we're solving similar products
Mhm,
problems a bit differently.
mhm,
I would more say we are complementary because still creators would need all those products to completely, design their strategies and launches into the markets. But yeah, we also solve a problem in a unique way, and definitely there's a big potential there.
And what about the marketplace of all your best product?
We already have the
You do?
marketplace currently. Yes, we have a marketplace. You can go and there are like a lot of cool products over there. So and on the consumer side, it's also interesting. You know, imagine
Okay.
you as a consumer. Imagine this. Imagine you get access to your favorite brands,
Mhm,
and imagine getting access to what they are working on right now. Like you really love, I don't know, Adidas shoes. Imagine getting access on what Adidas is working right at this stage and what they're going to launch
mhm,
in 3 months, right?
mhm,
And you can put down $10 and you receive a really cool discount when it's released. And you're not risking anything with this. That's an important part I forgot to say. You're not risking anything because if you change your mind, you can come and cancel and get a full refund anytime before they start the shipping. Because we are not giving this money to creators like in crowdfunding platform. We're keeping it in an escrow account. So whoever wants to get a discount, get a refund, they can come and cancel and without any risk they can receive their money back. So on a consumer side it's also getting like cool. You can get a really cool products from your favorite brands at practically at no risk. So in marketplace you just go. We'll soon release creator studios, so creators will come, they collect followers. You'll get access to what they are working on right now at this stage. And you can subscribe to some of your favorite creators, some of your favorite brands, and get access at much earlier on what they will release soon.
That's very interesting. That's very interesting. And what's the traction like right now? Does it work like super super well? Do you have like so many creators on the
It
platform?
does actually.
Really
Yeah,
good.
we have a really cool traction. We launched it 4 months ago. Like
Okay.
it was fully live 4 months ago. We're receiving more than 100,000 visitors a month currently,
Okay.
and we have thousands of creators who are registered on the platform. And you can see there are like 200 or something products already on the platform. That are passing this testing phase.
That's really cool. Really cool. That's all from me, Michael. I don't have any more questions.
I'm good. That was super interesting.
Yeah, that was super super interesting. Very nice.
Okay. Thank you, Narek.
Thank you, Narek.
You too.